us to be able to guide that, as well as our HR Director, Carrie Vu. I attended the Q2 Middle Mile Advisory Committee, and while that's not necessarily a county event, I'm a representative for the state on that, but it definitely is going to be impacting rural communities. What's happening now, and the concern is this construction needs to be finalized by the end of 2026, but Caltrans is not issuing the permits that we need in order to put the fiber in the ground. While Caltrans is saying, well, the joint partners are not getting the paperwork into us, we need to streamline that, and we made that message very clear at this meeting that we all need to be on the same page and rowing our boat in that same direction. I think they heard us. We're going to have a special meeting in May to get updates from the community joint partners so that we can find out where the holes are and what we need to do to get this project done. It's a $1 billion project. We have an opportunity here for us to have high-speed internet throughout California, and I don't want rural counties who need it the most to be left behind, and that's often what happens. So we'll feed to fire, and we'll keep that one going. I attended the local behavioral health board Q2 meeting. That was very interesting. Always great to hear updates from all over the state about what's happening with with behavioral health. And finally, yesterday, I did attend a meeting with Addie Meadham. As anybody that has listened to me for any amount of time knows that I do care deeply about our seniors in this community, making sure that we provide services to keep our seniors in their homes as long as possible with dignity. And so I met with Addie Meadham. They are lowering the costs of their monthly rate to really kind of match more about our income level here in Del Norte County. They are providing respite care now, so that will be available to them. And from that, it prompted us to decide to do our not second annual, because I did one in 2023, but an Elder Summit. So I will be organizing that temporarily. I'm looking at June 5th for that so that I can pull all the players together who provide services for our elderly so that we're giving that information to each other. We're working and coordinating together so we're not working in silos. So there'll be more on that to come up, and that is my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Starkey. Supervisor Wilson?
Yes, thank you. Okay. Take that one thing off. So this last, I too attended the Economic Summit. It was well attended. Presentations that really hit home for me were both by Senator McGuire and also what the city is doing is very impactful to the entire community, and will make a big difference, especially in the housing areas, and also Sutter Coast and the work that they're doing, expanding their services to our community. Two of the things that caught me by surprise, though, that are absolutely necessary is Sutter Coast is expanding their services. They're putting in a program called Empath, which will be 11 beds for mental health patients that will allow them to be held for 24 hours and hopefully identify their issues, stabilize, and treat. On top of that, Senator McGuire gave information that Humboldt and Del Norte County conjointly, even though I didn't know we were involved, has received the funding to open at Mad River a 42-bed mental health facility, and that facility is intended to service both Humboldt and Del Norte County. What exactly that's going to look like, I'm not sure what exactly that's going to help or impact us, but I know with the dollars that were pushed out for the development of locked or secure facilities or other facilities for mental health patients that need long-term treatment, was one of the edicts that was pushed out by the governor several years ago, along with the funding sources. But our counties, especially the Northern California counties, are too small for us to justify building a facility of significant size. We don't have enough patients that would fill those beds, but we do need beds. And so having that in conjunction with Humboldt and Del Norte is going to be an ideal fix for us, and exactly how that will fit in, but I know the benefits on not having to send our mental health patients, those that need incarceration, those that need a long-term treatment, out of county so far that they're away from any kind of supportive family contact is going to be very helpful, especially if it's just down in Mad River. I attended the Kamoe Festival dinner. It was very well attended. They raised a lot of money. Exactly how much money, I'm not unsure, but they did raise some money for that project, and that will be was well attended, and a lot of people throwing in and buying things and contributing. It was great to see. Attended a solid waste management meeting. Attended the homeless town hall meeting. It was well attended. A lot of good questions asked. And then, of course, this Sunday was Easter, and I was at services, celebration of Christ having risen, and it was well attended at our local church there in Fort Dick, and it was a blessing to be able to see and to celebrate and to have that period of time. And the Pope, of course, passing was significant in the Christian and how that comes out. But we wish him well, and I know that our prayers go out to him and to the church and for guidance. So that will end my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Supervisor Wilson. Supervisor Short?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I attended the North Coast DMS MAC meeting and the Solid Waste Management Authority meeting, and those were pretty routine. My two colleagues have already mentioned the ERF Town Hall. I just wanted to thank Ronelle and her team for putting on a well-organized and well-attended town hall meeting for the ERF homeless shelter project. Also attended the fireworks committee meeting with Supervisor Starkey, and that Safe and Healthy Families TAC that has already been talked about. So I will just cut my report short. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Short. And with that, I think we have enough time. We're going to drop down to item number 9, to general government. So item number 9 is to approve and adopt resolution number 2025-010, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Delaware County authorizing the transfer of the county's Rule 20A credits to the City of Crescent City as requested by City Manager and the County Administration Officer. And since we have the City Manager here, is there anything you'd like to add to that before we go on? Or do we have any questions from the board about it?
I don't have any questions. Did you want to come up, Eric, and talk about this?
Just give us a brief little overview of what's going on here.
Sure. What's that?
No dancing.
No dancing? Now, come on now, Val. All right, Val just said she wanted to see a little bit more or better moves, maybe. So with this one, though, Front Street has been a dance for many years for this community. And so just a couple of slides with Front Street itself. So 10 blocks total, right? We're making our way down. So this is the first phase, second phase, third phase. We're ready to take on this last phase. And that's what's outlined here in pink. So this will be our next phase, which hopefully will be under construction probably late July, early August. With this phase, though, there are some power lines. So this black line represents the overhead power lines that are in this portion of Front Street. And that's really where this opportunity lies. And with the Rule 20 money that is out there, that actually was dedicated for this county and the city to help underground power in conjunction with a project just like this. So when you look at Front Street in total, not only do we have the street piece of it, but there's also some significant gateway wayfinding signs that will be incorporated within this project. If you look at it, though, if you look at the section, you can see just how intrusive those power lines actually are. And then if you try to put some wayfinding signs in it, it's just going to even draw your attention more to those power lines themselves. Same on the further section where we're looking at this gateway sort of arch piece of it. That really is a conflict with those power lines. And so with that, that's what we're here to talk about. Is the city has our credits with the power company. It's just under $400,000 is what's been dedicated to the city. And then the county, our understanding is you guys have about $2.4 million. Those credits, unfortunately, are going to go away for both of us on June 8th. And so As part of this project, we're looking at how do we take advantage of that opportunity to augment this project, and then how do we put ourselves in a position where we can utilize these funds before we just lose it. And so with that, we do have our city attorney, Martha Rice. She's been taking the lead on exactly how we go about doing that. If the board would like that information, she can articulate that. It's creating an underground district. It's which the city's been doing the last couple of meetings, and then getting an estimate from the power company, notifying the property owners. All of those steps have to be taken in order to fully utilize this. Great.
So with this 2.4 million, that's been collecting for how many years?
Gosh, I want to say that was put in place in 1967.
Okay. And so, while 2.4 sounds like a lot, to do anything in the county, and this is from, I watched your presentation to your city council last night, and my understanding is this will take K Street in this area. Would it also then expand out beyond that?
It could. So we've created an underground district that expands a little bit beyond just the Front Street project. The Front Street project is going to be the active project, but then with the district boundaries, that'll actually include K Street up to Third Street to H, and then H Street back to Front. In the future, we could actually use this funding to underground those lines as well as part of this now active project that could be expanded. We have until 2033, I believe, to fully utilize the funding.
So you don't have to expend them by June 8th, right? You just have to have a project in place before June 8th.
An
Well, I
active
wish
project.
I wish you the very best of luck. I believe improvements to the city are improvements to the county, and so we don't have a current project earmarked for this, and so I'm very much for this and hope that you meet the deadline.
Thank you.
Questions from the board?
No, my sympathies, because K Street's going to be a mess. I hate to see what's going to happen once you break that thing open, because that road has been bad for decades.
For a long time with a lot of infrastructure.
Oh, I mean, it's just been one wave after another on K Street. So, yeah, and I know Front Street from other projects, pulling out the old redwood and all that other stuff that's deep down in there that collapses and causes us sinkholes all the time.
Yeah.
Is going to be quite a thing. Now, is this extension of the black line that you do have, is that going to, is there going to be any modification or changes in that in order to meet where the junctions can be for the cables for the actual power to go in the ground?
Yeah, so this is the area that we want to concentrate on actually undergrounding, but in order to underground this, there are certain ties that happen at these key intersections. So they'll have to drop back to, say, a pole mid-block and actually start their undergrounding there to be able to tie in. There's also transmission mains, which are your high voltage power lines. And let's see if I have a shot of it real quick. So this pole here to the left is a transmission main. We cannot underground that, but all of these poles here, the ones that actually have the distribution lines that are running, this one, all of those can be underground, as well as the drops to the different businesses. So this funding would actually cover all of the costs, including the cost to those businesses that are within, I think it's 100 feet of the main line. So this would not come at any cost to those adjacent properties.
And the CGI is amazing. Don't know what you had to pay for that, but that's
Yeah, no, that one, just sort of like the dance move. Those ones come free.
Okay. If we have no other comments or questions yet, I'll open this up for public comment before we bring it back. Do we have any public comment on this?
Oh, that?
On this only, item number 9 only.
I guess I suppose I'm a bit curious that this funding is accumulated since the 1960s, and the county has not been able to come up with any kind of project to expend the funds prior to now, and that it would appear what the city's talking about is not necessarily something that would alleviate the problems that we have in Delaware County, where lines that are above ground are they tend to be difficult to maintain. They tend to be situations that often result in power outages, and the city is concerned about aesthetics on Front Street. It seems to be a bit of an oxymoron in terms of the use of the funding, and that I'm almost embarrassed that the county has not been able to find a project in the confines of the county to expend the funding well before now. They wait till the last moment, and here we are in a mess, and we're going to expend the funding on what clearly is not a hugely essential project that the city is currently undertaking, that it's more for aesthetics than actual hardening of our electric system against storms and the like. Thank you very much, County.
The only thing I can say to that is that it's going to be nice to get those poles down because they get hit a lot. I mean, I can't tell you how many accidents that I've caught, over the years, pulled off cars off those poles just because that S curve tends to be driven too many times. And so getting those poles off will help, not only for the aesthetics of things, but also getting them off of our these curves that we've got there that tend to draw some traffic.
Need a closed public comment.
Any other public comment? I will close it. Supervisor Second?
With that, Chair, I would like to motion that we approve and adopt resolution number 2025-010 as stated in item 9.
I will second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Kylie, would you pull the vote?
Supervisor Wilson?
Yes.
Supervisor Short?
Yes.
Supervisor Starkey?
Yes.
Chair Borges?
Yes. Okay, thank you guys for that. And seeing now, we are moving on to our scheduled timed items, our 10:25 public comment period. Members of the public may address the board on matters which are within this jurisdiction of the board. If you are addressing the board regarding a matter listed on the agenda, you may be asked to hold your comments till the board takes up that matter. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Have any public comment?
Good morning. So I attended the Economic Summit event, and there were two parts to that I really enjoyed. One was listening to Senator McGuire. I didn't realize, how much work he actually does. And the other one was Eric Weir. I think he stole the show. He showed us what's going on with the city and how many accomplishments they've made and what they're getting ready to do. And I enjoyed that. I was a little disappointed that the county didn't have anybody to represent the county, so we don't know what's going on with the county. Even the harbor made a presentation, which, never mind. But the last thing is, I'm very upset and sad to hear of something that transpired this weekend. And I'm going to give you my phone number, 707-951-3048. If there is anybody in our community that is an employee of the county, the city, and has had a little bit too much to drink, please call me. I don't care what time it is. I will come pick you up. Please don't drive. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I see the public is here in force today. I think it was about a year ago where the city, or the board that's here in front of me, received a presentation on addressing the abysmal cell phone service in the county with regards to a tower out at the end of, it's out in District 4. In any event, it's been a year, and I can hardly believe that the cell phone service has gotten worse over the course of the year, to the point where I cannot make a cell phone call from my residence and understand who's talking to me on the other end. It's to the point where I'm fortunate that I have a landline and that if I had an emergency, I could actually contact somebody. I dread the possibility of some elderly folk who depend on their cell phones and will not be able to get some kind of health care service and actually die from the lack of movement by the county in order to get some sort of functional cell service in the county. Beyond that, I did attend the meeting at the Paragon Cafe in which I met, or well, not necessarily met, but was allowed to address our most recently elected assembly member. And I think that for the five of you, pardon the fact that Supervisor Howard is not here, it's a match made in heaven where he believes that the most important feature of his representation for Del Norte County is to advocate for doing something about cockfighting in the state of California. And this was a real eye-opener going to that particular meeting in all of the things that he stood for that pretty clearly the bulk of the country no longer favors. So, like I say, it is a match made in heaven for this particular board and that assembly member. I could barely believe some of the things that he was advocating for, and I did spend some time actually going back through and seeing some of his positions prior to being elected, and was astonished by all the things that he was promoting that simply are not functional and do not work and lack complete common sense in terms of their employment in government. I suspect, at least in my case, he's a very poor representative for Del Norte County. And had he only run in Del Norte County, he would not be our assemblyman. Thank you very much.
Playground, a brand platform that.
Okay. Is there any other public comments? Come on down.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rick Coltra. My wife Becky and I live at 3225 Railroad Avenue in Crescent City off of Malone Road. And we've been trying for years, as far back as Jerry Hemmingson, to get a bridge fixed down that road because it's been a failing bridge forever. And we've talked with Dean and we've talked with Joey, or my wife did, but we can't get any response back on this problem. And if you guys can help us, then at least lead us to somebody that can help us as far as fish and game or whoever, because we can't really touch it because it is a creek and everybody knows that, you know, you have to go through all the legal channels to get stuff like that fixed. So is there anybody that knows anything about this or any way that we can be sent in the right direction to get this problem fixed?
Could we refer him to our county engineer?
Yeah, so John Olson would be a good start. We can get you in contact with him. I've been in contact with the Smith River Alliance trying to do the creek, fish restoration process. It's just everything is so slow. So I guess if you want to stop in and maybe set up an appointment with John Olson, maybe we can get that started, see if he has any ideas. Okay. I know the city has a water main that runs through there to see if, maybe they can help out.
Yeah, because we've had two water mains or two services put in on that road, and I mean we don't even get notified. We come back and you can't get down the road because there's equipment down there. And I mean it is a narrow road, and I get it. There's only 2 residents that live down there, and it seems like it's a lot, but this has been going on. My dad fixed that bridge years ago, and I mean it's held up this long, but it's failing, like I say, and pretty soon there won't be any access in there. And last week I had the power company come in to try to do some work, on our lines to the house, and they're leery of coming down there as well. So, I I mean, we have to get something done because we can't get any kind of services down to our property in the event that we need them, you know, it's frustrating.
I've gone into the creek that you're talking about, the bridge. I've got all the
Right.
pictures. I've sent them off. It doesn't. I know it doesn't feel like anything's happening, but there's a lot trying at least behind the scenes.
Right, yeah. Well, just a callback every once in a while would help, updates. But, the big bridge is actually a slough more than, it's not actually Jordan Creek. So there are fish that come up it, but it's like they could put in the half culverts to where they could just put half culverts in and then concrete it all in and it would be done for 100 years,
Yeah, and I have had conversations with John, our engineer, about this. He reached out to the city because primarily we have no need for the bridge. Bridge is ours. However, the city does use that bridge in order to service their water system out there. And unfortunately, in the conversations that he's had with the city is unwilling to do anything as far as monetarily to repair or fix or maintain that bridge. And so at this point in time, the other issue is the cost associated with that bridge, given the length of it and the weight of the necessary support that would have to go into developing that. It's cost prohibitive at this point in time for the county to take on that project. But feel free to talk to John, and maybe he has other recommendations that he can provide to the residents down there.
Right. Yeah, because it actually is county-owned property. So, I mean, I would think they would be obligated to do something to make it safe for people to go up and down that road. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thanks. John
Olson, right across the hall.
I just texted him, told him you're on your way.
Any other public comment? Okay, I will close public comment and move on to our 10:30 timed item, the Visitor Bureau update by Cindy Vosberg.
Thank you, Supervisors. It's a pleasure to be here. In addition to wearing the Executive Director hat for the Crescent City Del Norte Chamber of Commerce, I'm also the Executive Director for the Del Norte Visitor Bureau. The Bureau was formed in 2006 and is funded by TOT taxes, which is a transient occupancy tax, paid by those who stay in our lodging facilities. The city and the county collect these funds and pass on over to the Visitor Bureau some of the monies which we use to market Del Norte County to the world. Our mission statement is to bring the next new visitor to Del Norte County. We team up with an expert in destination marketing, but before I introduce you to Lynette Braylard, let me tell you about something quite exciting that has happened. A regional strategic tourism plan was conducted by Visit California. This was a 2-year project and entailed bringing the consultants in multiple times to meet with stakeholders such as Ocean World, Teresa Mystery. They attended a couple of our mixers. They went out to, Howland Hill and Grove of Titans and explored the whole county. So the regional strategic tourism plan that was conducted by Visit California ranked the top 30 events, among other things, the top 30 events in the North Coast region, which consists of Humboldt, Lake, Mendocino, and Del Norte counties. It looked at 11 different indicator points, which included nights lodging when someone comes to visit for the event, the quality of the event, what type of event it was, when it was held, shoulder season, or in the peak of summer, and the people who attended, how many people attended. Of the top 30 events that they ranked, the number one event was the 4th of July deck party, as far as hitting all these indicators. The number 2 event was the festivities in the park and the fireworks, the professional fireworks. Number 3 was the Mendocino Music Festival, and number 4 was our Independence Day Parade. So of the 30 events that they ranked and graded, we got 3 out of the top 4 here in Del Norte County. Our Kamomi Festival showed up in the list. Sea Cruise was number 16, which isn't a bad showing for an event of that size. We beat out, the Oyster Fest and every other event, even the Well Festival in Fort Bragg with the 4th of July events. So I'm quite excited about that, and it kind of makes it a little bit more motivating. And now, let me introduce you to my friend and colleague Lynette Braylard. As the founder and creative director for Lulish, a full-service destination marketing agency with over 25 years of hands-on marketing experience within the hospitality and tourism industries, including leading and building many destination marketing and management organizations from the ground up. Lynette's superpower is keeping a keen eye on the ever-changing trends that create connections and inspire visitors to go places and buy things. She's produced record-breaking strategies, campaigns, and room tax collections for a variety of Oregon, Washington, and California cities, counties, and regional DMOs. She started the Visit Del Norte County brand and launched the website in April of 2019. Clients include North of Ordinary, California, which is the North Coast Tourism Council, and those 4 counties I speak of, Visit Central Oregon, Olympic Tourism Commission, and Visitor Bureau, Visit Port Angeles, Visit Bend, Visit Redmond, and Visit McMinnville, and more. And now, here's Lynette.
Hello, thank you for having us again to present our annual report on all the wonderful things we've accomplished with the leadership of our VB committee, and of course, all of our tourism partners, all the attractions, lodging, restaurants, and community members. So we can go ahead and start. We're gonna start with a couple videos.
Playground, a brand platform that wasn't just a campaign, but a movement. We embrace the full spectrum of what makes California stand apart: the energy, the diversity, and endless opportunities for adventure and self-expression. Let's take a look at the campaigns that shared the ultimate playground with the world over the past year.
Find your ultimate playground at visitcalifornia.com.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay, I have to say, when you're standing there and you're watching the screen, do you know how easy it would be just to leap into those seats? I mean, like, yes, yes, yes. No wonder it's working. I mean, it's truly working, and the message is resonating powerfully with visitors. Last year, Visit California's marketing generated $31.5 billion in incremental visitor spending. Our Let's Play campaign achieved the highest ad recall in Visit California's history. This isn't just about tourism. It's about California's brand, a beacon of innovation, creativity, and freedom.
So I just wanted to highlight that Visit California, it's our Visitor Bureau committees, it has been one of the things that since I started with the Visitor Bureau and our committee is to get more exposure from Visit California. And definitely being part of this campaign with our tribal partners and the UROC for this campaign was amazing. And it was their most successful campaign to date, which is incredible. And then along with that, that entire
Tucked into the
campaign was backed by a $33 million global media budget. So we will move on just to a couple other videos, and then we'll get on with our main video presentation.
Tucked into the Six Rivers National Forest in Del Norte County, California, is the scenic Highway 199, where views of the Wild Smith River Canyon culminate with a front-seat view of redwood tree groves in Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. Make a plan to float, fish, or frolic along the pristine emerald waters of the Smith River. The Smith River and our Redwoods National Parks will capture your heart. Plan your trip at visitdelnortecounty.com. Chill out on the cool coast in Del Norte County, California, just south of the Oregon border. Make a plan to sway 100 feet above a redwood forest floor. Paddle a hand-carved redwood canoe down the Klamath, or make a big splash into the Smith River. Our cool ocean beaches, wild rivers, and redwood national parks will capture your heart. Make a plan to chill this summer at visitdelnortecounty.com.
And then finally, we're just going to play a quick video of highlights of the marketing we've done. And then you also have a full printed report of the last year that goes into more details and shows everything that we've been working on. And then just lastly, the website slide. So everything we do, we have 6 key performance indicators that we use to track and ensure we're getting a return on our investment. And one of, most of everything we do leads people to our website, which has every single business, attraction, hotel, lodging, restaurant, you name it. And in the last year, our website had more views than the entire population of the North Coast, which is Lake, Mendocino, Humboldt, and Del Norte County, or more than the population of Anaheim, California. And then finally, we just wanted to end with a look at our closest destinations throughout Northern California and Southern Oregon and how our marketing budget compares to our neighbors. As you can see that we're doing a lot with significantly less funds than our neighbors.
Can you put that back up again for just a moment? So, Lynette, talk about that last purple slide and how we compare to that.
Yes, so Shasta Cascade, so they reported in their most current annual report that came out this spring that in fiscal year 23-24, they had exactly 47,000 website visits for their campaigns, and their budget is more than double our budget, or I would say almost double our budget. But we had 368% more website visits with our campaigns and using $146,000 less. So,
any questions, comments?
I'm biased because I sit on the Visitor Bureau and I'm on the committee, and it's my favorite committee, aside from all the other committees. I don't want to pick favorites. What I really want to point out is that, we have such beauty here that you think you can just throw up a picture and that'll be enough, and it just doesn't work that way. And what Lynette has done and what Cindy has done is they pitch these articles day in and day out. And there's some that stick and some that don't. But 27 articles in Visit California in the last year is a very impressive amount, but that comes with a lot of hard work behind it. So my plea actually to the community is, if you have ideas, let's fly them. Let's just see what'll go. There's hidden gems here. Let's do something, because by doing this, we're showing the world our beautiful area. We're helping with the economy by bringing the visitors here. I do believe that the investment that this county makes in the Visitor Bureau is well worth it, and the return on the investment is shows. So I want to say that, and that I also just want to tell the community, and I've been pitching this for a while, but it's a ways off, but I want to do a direct flights campaign for 2028 Olympics. They're going to be in LA with the Hawthorne flights. So I bring it up at every Visitor Bureau meeting, but I'm going to bring it up here to give it a little bit more momentum, because I think that would be something that would be impressive, to be able to capture some of those people who need a 3-day break to come up here, visit our redwoods, and then go back down and finish their Olympic journey. So thank you very much for your work.
I would like to just add a comment to what Valerie just said, which is Advanced Air has been wonderful allies and partners and are very receptive to different things that we advertise in their magazine, and they're open to doing promotions with us, and it's been a wonderful relationship. So good job on you guys helping to bring them here.
Any other comments from the board?
The only comment I have is appreciate the work that you've been putting in and getting the word out, trying to get the word out for Del Norte County. My major concerns going forward is capacity. As we go every year, we see that during the tourist season, the height of tourist season, the thing that draws people to Del Norte County is the redwoods. And if you go up Holland Hill, if you go and see all the trailheads, they're packed from the beginning of the day to the end. And so capacity is a problem because we have a certain number of visitors. How do we increase that by 20 or 30% when these trailheads are absolutely loaded? The other thing is really promoting our NRAs. We don't really do a good job of doing that, although we have many NRA locations, whether it's off-roading, whether it's horseback riding, whether it's just hiking, whether it's bicycling. There are so many, whitewater rafting. We've seen a dramatic increase in the last several years on groups coming in and participating in whitewater rafting down the Smith. Fishing is kind of fallen off quite a bit because of the restrictions and without the salmon season. But again, still promoting our coast and really promoting what brings people here in the Redwoods. And whether it's, for people just to come and walk in the woods and see the beaches and see the beautiful scenery, you do a great job of getting that word out, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just that. I just wanted to touch on that last stat you shared, comparing us to Shasta. I mean, the creativity is evident, and the hard work that goes into what you have done here is plain to see. But hearing that last bit about the value that we're getting for our dollar says a lot to how much you guys are putting your heart into this. And I just want to say that I'm very much appreciative of all that you're doing there. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And before you go too far, we'll open up for public comment here.
Okay.
Any public comment on this presentation?
Spectacular. I commend the lady for a really vivid and compelling extravaganza. I do travel a little bit, and one of the prime concerns I have is when I go to any place, I like the weather to be at least somewhat reasonable. And I was wondering how we can expand here in Del Norte County to have people come in here during the period of time where you're looking out of your hotel window and it's absolutely pouring down rain. It's something that is somewhat debilitating when it comes to enjoying a spectacular place like Del Norte County. And I was wondering if anybody had some thoughts, because we would like some sort of a year-round economy from tourism, and I would hope that we can somehow manufacture something for the county that allows visitors to come here when the weather isn't great, and there are things that they can enjoy and have a wonderful experience when the weather outside isn't exactly conducive towards having a good time. I would appreciate any input from the young lady to maybe help us along in that respect, and perhaps allow the county to experience a bit more of an economy when things are pretty dead around here in the wintertime. Thank you very much.
Porta-Pints and Seaquake, I think, are the solutions.
Well, as being on the Visitor Bureau Board, we'll bring that up at our next meeting.
Let's finish public comment, and then I'll have you come up and address anything that you feel comfortable.
I'd just like to add that this woman, I never see her without a smile. She's always happy, and because she loves what she does, and it shows. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Chair, can I just say something?
You sure can.
So I was thinking, Bigfoot is huge up here, and the Patterson-Gimlin film is one of the most famous Bigfoot films ever taken of supposed Bigfoot, and it was taken in Del Norte County, and I think that could bring some interest up here, especially since we just had Expedition Bigfoot up here filming on the Klamath River. But I'm not sure if they were aware of all that information, but I think it could bring a lot of Bigfoot enthusiasts up here too. I know some people think it's a joke and it's fake, but hey, it's fine. It attracts tourists. So I don't know, that just popped in my head because that Bigfoot is huge. You see it everywhere. Merchandise is everywhere. I think, and like I said, that is one of the most famous Bigfoot videos ever taken. So I think, bringing that up every once in a while wouldn't hurt anything, but that's just my 2 cents.
Great idea. And if you guys would like to come back and address any of the comments.
I knew I would be famous.
So thank you very much for all of those comments. And Lynette does a great job marketing our stormy season, and it's called Storm Watching. And, Bandon has been successful with that as well. But we've been doing that for a while with some storm watching ads that run throughout the stormy months. So.
Just one thing to add too, we do promote our redwoods as the only rainforest in California. Just trying to encourage people to come here when it is raining and enjoy the redwoods. And then also, majority of our campaigns, we back off quite a bit in summer because we know we're at capacity. So we are working year round to try to get people here in the slower seasons. So.
And as far as Bigfoot goes, we've actually been approached by our new city council member, Councilman Dooley, about the Bigfoot film and perhaps somehow setting up a Bigfoot exhibit or expanding on that. And so that's actually has been some conversation on it. And we sell quite a bit of Bigfoot merchandise out of our visitor center because the parks won't sell Bigfoot, aren't allowed to sell Bigfoot merchandise. So thank you.
Right. And I've heard he really comes out during the storms here, so you can push that.
You can hear his howl over the storming.
Yeah. Come on up, Sam. We're having fun. Come on up.
One of the highlights of my most recent trip was to get up in the middle of the night and watch lightning storms out over the ocean. Was really quite entertaining. I mean, sometimes they would go on for several hours and was really quite a spectacular, better than fireworks almost. And then the other thing, our illustrious new assembly member is trying to usurp our stake to Bigfoot and move it south into Sonoma County. So I would suggest that you get after him about that.
Very good point.
Save Bigfoot.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much. Okay. We're going to jump back down to our very short consent agenda. Is there any public comment on the consent agenda?
I see that, yes, you've trimmed it down quite a little bit, but the whole calendar is trimmed down quite a little bit. And I would hope not to allow the board to skinny out of here before 11 o'clock. Anyway, in order to kind of break the logjam, because you don't appear to be hearing me, that general business for the county shouldn't be on the consent agenda. I don't know any government agency, at least in this county, that utilizes the consent agenda the way you do, and that your lack of transparency is not a particularly good look for the county. So I will take on one of perhaps I'm sorry to Director Brown, but I'll take on one of her items on the consent agenda, number 5, in which I'm pleased to see that actually some numbers in terms of cost are appearing, at least in that particular item, and numbers are there as well. But what concerns me, I suppose, is the Department of Health and Human Services spends a tremendous amount of money that are taxpayer monies, and they do it for programs that, while even if we were to get the numbers that were involved in the particular program, the contract, and the cost, I think we're talking about 55 people in a county of 26,000 and a cost of, I believe it was 250,000 with a cap of 16,000. A lot of money to spend on a program. But as I've said before this council, that we've become almost a county that is an industry for, at the time I characterized it as dysfunctional people. I've been corrected by the illustrious union rep, Norma Williams, that Health and Human Services is saving people. What concerns me is we don't know exactly how successful any of these programs are and whether any people have actually been saved. And by moving these particular items to general business, at least we wouldn't have to have, upwards of 24 people in here focusing on each item on the consent agenda to kind of unravel what we're talking about here and have a little bit more transparency. So again, I urge the Board of Supervisors to reconsider the 3-minute limitation on consent agenda. And if you can't do that, move the vast majority of these items to the general business item or the general business portion of the agenda, where at least there would be some way of eliminating some of the failed portions of the consent agenda. Thank you.
So, usually, in my opinion, I don't know, I could be wrong, consent agenda items are items that's already been previously heard at another meeting. And so maybe it would help if you could put the date of that meeting and that it was open to the public, because that's what it's already been heard in a public forum, and so that's what you're approving. And if you can't put the date of that meeting, then that kind of tells us that it hasn't been heard in a public forum and it needs to be on a regular agendized item. And I could be wrong, Council, but I don't know. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none. Council, would you be able to kind of address the consent agenda at all?
The consent agenda is a public item. Every single item that's on the consent agenda is found on the big agenda and the board. There's a board report for every one of those items. And it is a public hearing. It's just these items have been determined to not be controversial. Anything can get pulled by one of the board members if they want to pull it. But yeah, it is a public meeting. They are public items. It's just for efficiency purposes, that's why we use it.
With that, I'll bring it back to the board.
Move to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, Kylie, we have a motion. We have a second.
Supervisor Starkey?
Yes.
Supervisor Short?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilson?
Yes.
Supervisor Borges?
Yes. Okay, that takes us down to budget transfers. Item number 10, approve and adopt budget transfer number 04-03 in the amount of $25,000 within the 101-231 Sheriff Office Budget Unit to cover the cost of post-academy for 1 deputy and a recertification of 2 deputies as part of the recruitment efforts to fill vacancies as requested by the sheriff. Item number 11, approve and adopt budget transfer number 04-05 in the amount of $46,627 within the Office of Emergency Services Budget Unit as requested by the Fiscal Manager, Office of Emergency Services. And number 12, approve and adopt budget transfer 04-06 in the amount of $149,403 within the miscellaneous revenue and expense budget as requested by the County Administrative Officer, Auditor Controller, Fiscal Manager for the Office of Emergency Services.
I will move that we approve and adopt budget transfer 0403, 0405, and 0406.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any public comment?
I'm pleased to see that with respect to item 10, that the county is actually making some movement to assist the sheriff in at least providing minimal coverage in the county with regards to addressing the abysmal lack of safety in the county, primarily due to the fact that the sheriff no longer has the manpower to adequately service the county. I'm just wondering how long he's going to be able to keep the 3 people that you're currently authorizing the expense for, because it doesn't seem like at the rate of pay that patrol officers receive in this county that he's able to do much about retaining officers. So I'm wondering how soon it will be before he's back to the current staffing level of, I believe it's 10 on the patrol side. I think he said something in the neighborhood of 9 on the incarceration, the jail side, in which in some cases when he has to expel people on the on the jail side, he has to remove patrol officers off of their duties to cover that mandatory lapse. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, close it. Kyle, would you pull a vote?
Supervisor Starkey?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilson?
Yes.
Supervisor Short?
Yes.
Chair Borges?
Yes. Okay, our final item, legislative and budget issues. Item number 13, receive copies of letters provided to the state legislator from the Director of Health and Human Services per section 1.60 of the Administrative Manual as requested by the Director of Health and Human Services. And those letters have been received. Okay, any public comment on those items? Number 13? Seeing none, I will adjourn this meeting to our next meeting, May 13th.